the opportunity of seeing you in flesh and blood after 15 years of watching so many of your shows on YouTube. It's a real honor, sir, and I wish you a great stay in Muscat and a very successful and enjoyable stay and success in your mission here. Sir, I have a small clarification I need from you.
What's your good name, brother?
My name is Pradeep. My name is Pradeep. I'm a marketing professional working in Oman, in Muscat. Yeah.
MashaAllah.
So my question is, I just want a clarification. This is something that's been percolating in my mind. I've heard you say that Islam is about submitting to His will.
God's will, yes.
Yes. So in that context, this whole concept of offering dua, prayer, supplication to God, asking Him for something, whether it's blessings or good health or whatever, isn't that strictly speaking against the concept of submitting to His will? Because if you have submitted to His will, then He decides and you accept whatever and keep going. But once you're asking Him, that is not just in Islam, in any faith, even as a Hindu, when I feel that when I'm asking God for something, it is in a way, I'm not really completely submitted myself to it. I just want your clarification on this matter.
Brother Pradeep has asked a very good question.
Thank you.
And Brother Pradeep is one of my proof that I said in my lecture that most of the non-Muslims hear my talk, they love me. I'd like to thank you, Brother Pradeep.
Thank you so much.
He's been watching me for 15 years and he's happy to see me live. And he asked a question that Islam means submitting your will. And a Muslim is a person who submits his will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So his question is that when we ask dua from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so isn't it contradictory that we are going against His will? And the answer is no, brother. Submitting the will means Allah has given you certain guidelines, few do's and don'ts. Everything else is optional. You know, people think, oh, Islam is very strict, thousands of do's and thousands of don'ts. No. Only few do's and few don'ts. Fard is, you should believe in tahir, you should offer salah, you should give zakat, fast in the month of Ramadan, you have to do hajj. Amongst the major do's and don'ts, there is a book called Kabair, written by Imam al-Dhahabi, the 70 major sins, which includes even the major fara'is. So these 70 are the major do's and don'ts. Then there are minor do's and don'ts. Major do's means the major fara'is, offering salah, giving zakat, doing hajj. And the major haram is not to take interest, you should not gamble, you should not have alcohol, you should not bribe. So these are the major do's and don'ts. And the remaining is optional. You can become a doctor, you can become an engineer, you can become a dai, you can become a lawyer, you can become an engineer. If I do the dua to Allah, make me a dai, am I going against Allah's will? No. Yes, if I say, oh Allah, make me a robber, then there's a problem. Because Allah says you should not rob. So if your dua is going against the guidelines of the Quran, then I agree with you, you are going against the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you cannot do a dua for doing something haram. You cannot do dua that I want to become alcoholic. You cannot do a dua that I want to become a zani, I want to become adulteress. You can do dua, doctor, engineer, lawyer, all are mubah. So your dua, if it's against the don'ts, then it is wrong. If your dua are not to do with this fard, I want to do dua that I don't want to offer salah, it's not accepted. So do you understand, brother? So if you do certain dua, very few dua, it will go against the will of Allah. And I don't know of any Muslim who does such dua. Maybe few here or there, if they're not in the right state of mind. But the other things which are mubah, you say, okay, I want to be rich, no problem. You can do dua which may not be very good, but you can do anything which is mubah. For example, you want to get a job in a good company, you can do dua to Allah. So, your dua is not going against the concept of submitting your will. It only goes if you do something which is against the commandment of Allah. Hope that answers the question, brother. Yes, brother, you can ask the next question.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. That is very enlightening. Thank you.
Anything else, brother? You have any other question?
No, sir. There are a lot of questions, but not now.
No, for the non-Muslim, we have exception. The brothers are one at a time, but for non-Muslim, they can ask a second question. You can be comfortable here. You can attack Islam, you can attack Zakir, you can attack the Quran. What do you feel is wrong with Islam?
Can I ask you, this is about the Prophet, peace be upon him?
Any questions you can ask, no problem.
Okay. I don't know, again, there is a particular quotation or a saying, something which is attributed to Prophet Muhammad, which I find it a little uncharacteristic, sir. I mean, you're a doctor, you know more than anybody else that leprosy as a disease is one of the least infectious diseases.
Yes.
It's one of the least infectious diseases and spreads only through a prolonged contact with the person who's affected. So I read a statement which says that the Prophet said, run away from a leper as you would run away from a lion. Mm-hmm. But I have also read that he has sat and actually dined and eaten food with a patient, a leprosy sufferer. Yes. So, but then when you say Jesus says, go heal the sick, and at the same time when you're listening to this statement of the Prophet, is that, I just want to check the veracity. Did he really say that, or was it being falsely attributed? And the fact that he has actually partaken food with a leprosy sufferer, so I just want to know the truth of the matter. What is that really a statement made by him?
I don't know which hadith you are referring to.
No, this is completely from the net and also from a movie I saw on the Netflix called The Rise of Ottoman Empire, where this quotation is mentioned. And it's there, it's available on the net that he has mentioned something like this.
The brother asked a question that there's a hadith of the Prophet that a person runs away from leprosy like a person runs away from a lion. And at the same time, the Prophet did share the food with a leper. So what does the hadith mean? What you have to understand...
No, not that, sir. I just want to know whether the Prophet really said that, because somebody who can sit and have a thing, I mean, I'm sure because it's, that sentence that run away from him, like you run away from a lion, is a little uncharacteristic or somewhat lacking in sensitivity, which I doubt whether he would have said it really. Or is it being falsely put on the net that something like this is...
The brother asked you a question that is this hadith authentic hadith? Because there are many hadith authentic and there are zaif. But natural, when you get a hadith, you have to, if you give me the reference, I'll be in a better position. That is the reason I asked you the reference.
Okay.
What we understand, that all the hadith that are there in the Bukhari and the Muslim authentic, from the other kutub al-sitta, whether it be other hadith like Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Nasai, majority are sahih but not all. There are other books in which there are more zaif. So that's the reason when you get a hadith, you have to first analyze whether the hadith is sahih or not.
Okay.
As far as this hadith is concerned, I have not checked up with the sources whether it's a sahih or not.
Okay.
That's the reason I asked you the reference. Okay. If you are going to reference it, it would be easy for me
I'm sorry, I don't have the reference there, but I've just read this quote that's available on the net. And actually, I saw this quote in this Netflix series called Rise of Ottoman Empire. There is this particular quote where he talks about that Ottoman Empire talks about what the Prophet said. And then that got me wondering, is that really there? So when I just went to the net and I found that it is there on the internet. But again, internet may not be always correct. There's so much of rubbish coming on that. So.
If it's a sahih hadith, we have to agree with it. If it's not authentic, then there are many hadiths which are zaif also.
Okay. Thank you.
Brother, do you believe that there's one God?
I'm still trying to figure out anything that helps me, I'll believe, sir. If God, one God, I don't know. My concept of God is evolving. I believe God could be truth, like generation, organization, destruction, God, God. So I don't know. I'm still trying to find out, sir. And that's the
But do you believe in one God or do you believe multiple gods?
No, I believe that God could be one, deities could be many. I don't know whether I believe in God or I know there's God, or I'm trying to figure out. I'm just trying to figure out.
My request to you would be, brother, that you do read the Quran. Maybe you have read it. If you read the translation of the Quran, then many of your queries will be answered.
Sure, sir.
If you read the translation, you'll bring a great favor to me.
Definitely, sir.
Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
My question was, how can we deal with scalar thoughts that is spreading these days?
How can you deal with secular thoughts that are separating you with the deen?
Yes, and we can see that is spreading these days. And
Question?
specifically, the new generation is getting affected with this thoughts that is spread in the websites and...
How can we deal with secular thoughts, correct?
Yeah.
That's the question. brother asked a question that how can you deal with the secular thoughts that are coming into your mind and they're disturbing you? Many things, you find in the world. And today, the whole world is a global village. Everything on the internet, you Google, you get the reply. You Google, good and bad, good and bad. It can take it very good for dawah, very bad to take you away from deen also. And this is the problem, that because the world has become a global village, you go on the net and you find many things which may take you away from your deen. So the best way to keep you on your deen is to see to it that every day you read the Quran. When these thoughts disturb you, and if you read the Quran along with translation, it will solve most of your problems. Try to see to it that you at least read one juz if you can, along with translation. So in 1 month, you have rehearsed and refreshed your memory, and most of the replies to these secular thoughts are there. It is there in the Quran. Now, because of the world becoming a global village, you find many views that are disturbing. And when you see in the Western world, they are keeping on changing the values of life. And if a person is not attached with the Quran, there are high chances that he may deviate. He goes to a Western country, to America, to London, to educate himself, and he gets misguided. High chances. We have many of the Muslims, going to Western country. I'm not saying every Muslim that goes, but because of what they are taught in the schools, in the colleges, in the universities, intermingling of sexes, freedom of speech in the name of women's liberalization, they are taking away, they are talking about rights, but actually what they're doing, they're demoralizing them. So the best solution, brother, is that you should, depending upon the topic that is disturbing you, you should hear the talks of that Dai. We give the solution to these topics. One thing is read the Quran. Second thing is certain Dais are specialized in certain topics. Some in comparative religion, some in science, some in technology. So depending upon what is the thought that is disturbing you, one solution is read the Quran. The second is you hear the talks of those Dais who are specialized in the topic. Hope that answers the question, brother.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mohammed Mustafai. I'm from Pakistan. I'm 10 years old. I have a question.
Yes.
Hazrat Jibril is one of the most important angels, right? So his job was to reveal the books to the prophets. But now the revelation is over. So what does he do now? What's his job?
The brother asked a very unique question. And sometimes, the children, they ask the best questions. And they ask the toughest questions. The young brother asked a question that one of the major role of Archangel Gabriel was to deliver the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the messengers. And he delivered the last and final message, the Quran, to our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, since there is going to be no other message, what is his role now? The point to be noted is that that was one of his major roles. There may be he's having minor roles. That was one of his major roles, to deliver the message. That's the reason he was called as one of the best of the angels. And even the angels are referred to as messengers. Messenger is a person who delivers the message. There are messengers among the human beings, and even the angels are referred to as messengers. Regarding what he's doing now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has assigned every angel. That doesn't mean that every angel has to be doing work every time. Correct?
Yes.
It's not required. So whatever role Allah has prescribed to every angel, that angel does it. Whether it's 24 hours a day, whether it's 10 hours a day, whether it's 2 hours a day, or whether it's resting. Many people retire.
Yes.
The angels don't retire. Huh? Many people, the angels don't retire. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who may say, okay, now you rest, now you do. Like the hadith says that there are 70,000 angels doing tawaf round the Kaaba. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has assigned each job. So based on what Allah has assigned, they're doing. If Allah says they should rest, they will rest. I'm not saying that Allah has asked Archangel Gabriel to rest. Allah alam, I don't know. So what Allah tells us, we know. What our beloved Prophet says, we know. What we don't know, we don't know. So maybe he's resting. Maybe Allah has given him some other job, we don't know. But surely we know that he was one of the most important angels. That's the reason called Archangel Gabriel. Hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you.